I'm alive. I'm alive. Okay. Now that we've gotten that out of the way. Hi, guys. So, my background is a mess. I have children's games and a game that Ella invented with a reusable water bottle that she got from a Scouts retreat. Welcome to my life. Today, I wanted to just talk with you guys about some things that I realized that I think have made are going to is going to make my life better. My skin has been going through it, you guys. It's not even, I don't think there's a filter on this. Maybe my camera is just so bad that you can't actually see what's happening on my skin right now. But it's so bad. And I am going to be going to the gym tonight. I need a little bit of something because I can't go places like this. Like, I can't do it. Anyway, so I have some stuff written down on a notepad, which I don't do generally anymore. And I'm going to get started on my skin and stuff like that, because that's pretty much what this is going to be about. I should have brought a mirror so that I could see what I was doing, but I didn't think that far ahead. Also, I have a cut like right here on the crease of my middle finger, and boy, oh boy, does it hurt. This is the CoverGirl Hydrating or Moisturizing Primer. I don't know what I think of it. This is only the second time that I've used it, but my skin has been so dry lately. I haven't been, I don't know, like I feel like I've been taking care of my skin, but I think that the weather just changed very, very quickly. So, this might not be, did I forget Sprauge? This might be really boring to some people, and that's okay. But I basically was, I honestly was going to do like a lot more prep for this video, but I have just been in such a bad place mentally that I was like, if I don't sit down and just get the video out there and get it done, then it's not going to get done. And I'm not going to be a happy camper so far. Or I'm not going to be a happy camper until this is done, because I'm going to have it in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this and I never did. This is the e.l.f. Tone Adjusting Face Primer in Brightening Lavender. It's probably one of my all-time favorite primers. I love to layer it on top of the Becca First Light Priming Filter. And I don't have that anymore. I used it all up. I did film a gigantic empties video. It's probably going to be like 30 minutes long, not even exaggerating. So stay tuned for that, because it's the empties I've been procuring throughout the year. I'm not going to do it this way next year. I'm definitely going to do it month by month, because not only do I want to use up my products and also declutter my products as I find out that they're not good for me, or I don't like the formula, etc., etc. But that video took so long to film, and it was quite honestly a mess, but I got it done. This is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Brightening Lavender, and I'm going to use this on very sparingly on any redness I have, because I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but Pompberry, aka I believe her name is Fernanda, She is stunning and so talented. If I'm able to edit the description box, I will. If not, maybe I can post a bunch of stuff in a pinned comment so that that's kind of like a description box. And I'll try and link the people that I'm talking about because obviously, I mean, I am nobody compared to them, but might as well share the love. I mean, they deserve it. Oh no, my lid flew off my desk. Anyway, but she uses the yellow corrector and her skin tone is much deeper than mine is. So I figured the light yellow would work for me. And I like it because it's very thin, but you can see it's pretty full coverage, but not like cakey or anything like that. And it blends with the other concealer that I'm going to use. I mean, you can see it doesn't 100,000% take away the discoloration, but it helps. I've seen Sharon Farrell use a green corrector, and I want to try that too. But I find that a green corrector can be quite difficult to use if you're not using anything else like I am today. I can't believe how little I brought with me to do this. Like, I was feeling confident. I didn't bring a sponge. I didn't bring any brushes. Apparently, I'm just doing this all with my hands. So okay. Anyway, so I was watching. I was making some goals for myself last Friday, Saturday-ish, and that was a disgusting noise. And I basically was like, okay, well, since like on my the video that I posted about, I think I entitled it "Let's Talk About My Health." I got such an amazing response from you guys, and not just in my comments. I think I had a couple comments, maybe like 2, 3. But they were all lovely. And then I got a couple of DMs from people because they didn't want to like talk about what they wanted to like say on YouTube. But everyone was so lovely and not only very supportive of me and like what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, but also like telling me how they kind of feel the same or they're going through something similar, and it helped them to share what I was going through as well. So I had let myself kind of just keep going. I didn't like change my like I didn't change my habits right away. I did start trying to go to the gym, and then life really, really got in the way. And I basically went through not just a really bad depressive patch, but just a lot of anxiety, a lot of insecurity, a lot of like self-loathing, which kind of sounds like a strong term for it, but that's honestly what it was. It was just me being very angry at myself all the time and not giving myself kind of, I don't know, the same I don't know what to say. I don't know what kind of word I'm trying to say, but basically, I wasn't, I didn't feel like myself at all. And not only did it make me feel angry at myself because I felt like I was letting those people that I had had those conversations with down, but I felt like I was letting myself down because I wasn't like actively working on this. And in some aspects, I was like, okay, Caitlin, like you gotta calm down because, you know, you're going through a lot right now and like you can't, like you wouldn't be this tough if like a friend was going through a hard time and they were beating themselves up about not going to the gym. And yet I was like sitting there just like trash talking myself pretty much all the time. Or yeah, all the time. I wasn't liking what I was seeing in the mirror. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I had some sort of amazing epiphany and all of a sudden now, like, I am like, you know, I love myself and I'm, you know, confident in the person that I am and, you know, I'm not disappointed in myself anymore and all this other stuff. Like, that's not, unfortunately, what happened. You know, I'm still not happy with how I look. I feel very unhealthy, first and foremost. I feel like when I look at myself, I look unhealthy, even what's going on my skin. For me, a lot of my breakouts, they can be hormonal, but a lot of my breakouts are caused by food. And unfortunately, with all of the stress that I've been going through, I let food kind of rule my existence. I just thought about food all the time. I wanted to eat food all the time. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's all changed and, you know, I've, you know, started this amazing new lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera. I'm saying that I'm making progress. And one of the ways that I have always kind of tried to help myself out is by making a plan and just sitting down and writing stuff out. So I make meal plans a lot. I plan when I'm on top of YouTube. I plan out my YouTube schedule. Like I plan everything out. Travel, plan it out. People are taking care of my pets. I plan it out. Like I plan everything out. And, you know, that's just the kind of person I am. That's the kind of person I've always been. And I just have the most success personally when I'm able to plan things out. I'm putting a little bit of that blush in my chin so it's not so one-dimensional. And my nose. And one of the other things that I do I used to do was go directly to something that was extreme. And it's obviously like, it's not healthy. It's not something healthy to do. You shouldn't just go from not doing anything, not taking care of yourself, like screw it, who cares, why do I matter, why does any of it matter anyway, to, okay, I'm going to eat like 3 bites of food throughout the day and exercise for 2 hours. Like, that's not achievable. That's not attainable. So I was kind of thinking, well, what if I set a time length for myself as a goal first? Okay, cool. I can't believe I've already been on here for 15 minutes. So I set a time of 90 days. For some reason, 90 days doesn't seem that long to me. I don't know why. I don't know why. But 90 days does not seem that long to me. So I'm going to attempt to put on mascara. Ooh, I'm going to use the camera from my phone like a millennial. Bougie ass millennial. Oh, my husband messaged me. Sorry. Oh, look, I have my little office ladies pop socket. Is that what these are called? I don't know. I'm not one of the hip kids. Look at it. It's so cute. If y'all don't listen to office ladies, what are you even doing with your life? So I'm gonna use my phone as a mirror and put this mascara on. I'm not putting on a lot because I'm just going to the gym. There we go. So, basically I was like, okay, how can I go and how can I I don't even know how to word this. How can I make a change without a drastic shock to my system and ultimately failing? Because that's what I do so often. And I came across, I believe her name is Cassie, and she is the face of, like, she is Blogilates, basically. And she did this 90-day transformation recently. I don't think she's still doing it. I believe that she's done doing it. And I was like, okay, number one, 90 days definitely seems more attainable, because I remember when she first started and she was actually like posting blog posts and stuff like that, and about how like people were having such like an awful reaction, and some people were super supportive and other people were, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And basically, I suddenly, like, 90 days didn't seem so long. So I was like, okay, cool. I can do 90 days, especially when I go and when I break it down, like, that's 3 months. I can stick to something for 3 months. I'm not saying that I'm going to do it for a year. I'm not saying I'm going to do it for 6 months. I'm saying I'm going to do it for like a season, like 3 months. And even more attainable is like something like 12 weeks, like a week. I can do a week set like 12 times, sort of thing. For some reason, it just doesn't seem like a lot of time in my mind. So I found this Blogilates. I actually didn't even expect to find it from Blogilates. I just looked up 90-day meal plan, 90-day nutrition guide, 90-day transformation, like those sort of like keyword type things. And I decided that I was going to do the one from Blogilates for a couple of reasons. Number one, Cassie is, while she's not a registered dietitian or anything like that, or nutritionist, she does know what she's talking about. She has done a lot of research as far as dieting and nutrition and health and all that stuff goes. She is a fit chick. She is healthy. She, you know, especially if you're going on her 90-day journey, like, she is happy with herself. Like, things are going good for Cassie. And because I actually looked at the meal plan and I saw not only how much work was put into it, but also that I could work with it. And it made me a little bit nervous, which in my opinion is kind of good, because if it was going to be too easy, then I wasn't going to be challenging myself. And if it was too hard, then I would have just been put off of it altogether. The other thing that made me want to do it is that it didn't seem too overwhelming to not do it all the time. So technically, am I doing this for 90 days? Yes. But technically, I'm committing to eating on this meal plan only 4 out of 7 days. So the way that she has her meal plan set up, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And then there's another meal plan for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I decided to just ignore Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I could have started with Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but I did want to challenge myself a little bit. So I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And I said, for the next 90 days, I'm going to eat like this, according to this plan, on these days. So 4 out of 7 days. I'm slowly going to start integrating workouts. Today isn't the first day this week that I'm actually going to go work out, because I knew that not only a change in my diet was going to make me tired, but I also knew that I didn't want to overwhelm myself and I didn't want to just jump into things. So I've been, I've still been being active. I'm getting my 10,000 steps a day. I take my dogs for walks. I deep cleaned my kitchen on Monday and deep cleaned Ella's playroom on Tuesday. Yesterday, I didn't get my 10,000 steps, but that's because I crocheted a piece that I'm giving somebody for Christmas. And then I did the same thing today because I had 2 people to make stuff for. So today is the first day that I'm working out this week, and I'm okay with that. And I had to be okay with that because my immediate reaction is Mondays. Like, Mondays matter. Mondays are important. Mondays, you get back on track. You do this, you do that. Like, it's a time to get back and exercise after you've been like bad over the weekend. And I just thrown all of that out of my brain because I had to. Otherwise, I was going to make myself insane by starting this new meal plan and starting a new workout plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, I'm not doing it. So I am going to be exercising tonight, but crochet on a treadmill. Oh man, that would mean I would face plant. So I basically said, okay, I'm going to go and this is how I'm going to eat. And then something else that's really like inspirational for me is watching people's transformations on YouTube. YouTube is an amazing resource. It can be full of crap. It can be full of crap, but it can also be an absolutely amazing, amazing resource. So I went on there and I found a woman. Again, I will try and edit the description box, or I'll put it in a pinned comment, anybody I talk about in this video, but I don't know even how to pronounce her name at all. But she talked about how she was trying to get back into the swing of things herself. And I think the video is labeled, I only changed one thing. And it has like a thumbnail of like her pants not fitting and then her pants fitting. And she basically talked about how she was watching these, this like entrepreneur speak. I think his name is Max Yolette. I think that's the name that she said. And he basically was talking about, and then she spoke about in her video as well. And now I'm talking about it in my video because I'm so original. But basically he was saying that when you go and when you set a goal for yourself and then you don't do it, you're essentially breaking a promise to yourself. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. Like, obviously I don't go, and when I set up my gym schedule for the week, I never say like, I promise I'm going to go to the gym. Like, I don't think that way, and I don't talk that way about myself. So I never thought of it that way. And he said, we hold promises that we make to other people in such high regard. You don't break promises to people, and generally you try not to make unattainable promises to people. A lot of times I really don't tell people that I'm like coming to visit them, or I try not to tell people that I'm coming to visit them unless I absolutely know. And like, even some of my really close friends, I'll be like, hey, I'll try to come visit you. These are the dates that I'm looking at. And sometimes it doesn't work out. And that's why I'm not like, yeah, like I'm coming. And I don't show up, sort of thing. Like, it's, it's one of those things that I would never go, and I would never make an unattainable promise to somebody. You know, I'm never going to tell Ella, like, she really wants to go to New York City, and I would never be like, you know what, this weekend we'll go to New York City. Like, that's an unattainable thing for me to tell her. So why would I go, and why would I tell myself that I'm going to do something that's unattainable? And basically, he was talking about how the more you do this to yourself, the more you make these promises to yourself and then break them, the less you are to trust yourself, just like you would another human being. So the more you go and say, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, and I'm going to eat clean all week, and I'm going to have one cheat meal, and that's it. And I'm going to have, like, be in a, 1,000-calorie deficit, and this, that, and the other thing. And then you don't do those things, you start to not trust yourself. Just like if somebody kept saying, yeah, I'll come over and I'll fix it. Yeah, I'll come over and I'll fix it. Yeah, I'll come over and I'll fix that. And then they never do. Eventually you just kind of give up on them, and you're like, okay, never mind. Like, I'll do it myself, or I'll get somebody else to do it. And that's exactly what you're doing to yourself. Every time you set a schedule for yourself, you're essentially breaking, and don't stick to it, you're breaking a promise to yourself. And it means that you don't trust yourself. So then when it comes time to do it, you don't actually think that you're going to do it, because you've broken these promises to yourself so many times. And that really hit home for me. It obviously hit home for her too. She's had amazing success. She looks absolutely wonderful. And it seems like her mental health is in a much better spot from what I can tell of the videos that I've watched of hers. And so I basically sat down and I was like, okay, number one, things about promises, they have to be attainable for me. I have such high anxiety that if I'm unable to deliver on a promise, unless it's something out of my control, I can't function, because I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm unable to actually deliver on this promise. The other thing about promises is that obviously you generally want to be able to, in some aspect, want to do them. So if I go and, for instance, I'm going to go visit my best friend, and I told her that we would paint her room together, I only did that because I actually want to help her with it. Am I necessarily ecstatic and excited about the thought of taking everything out of her bedroom, or putting it all in the middle and putting a giant drop cloth on it and taping everything off and putting a drop cloth on the floor? Like, no, these are not the things about the process that excite me. I'm excited though that she's going to have a new color in her room. She's going to be super happy that it's going to get done. I'm going to be able to help her with it, all that sort of stuff. And with those two things in mind, I also thought about the digestibility of the promise that I was going to make. So if you go, and let's just say a challenge at my gym, I go to Anytime Fitness, and at my gym, there's a challenge that if you can row, I think it's like it was a challenge in October and November. And if you can row the length of the Rideau Canal, which I think is like 176 kilometers, I think. I think it's 176 kilometers. Oh, ambitious nature. But like, if you go and if you can row this like length of the Rideau Canal, then you're entered in to win a prize. Now that seems insane when you go and sit down at a rower and you've been rowing for 10 minutes and you've rowed like, I don't know, 700 meters or something like that, or 500 meters or whatever it is. I obviously have not attempted this. It seems too much. And it's kind of like that meme that when you're running, you have, or like, let's say, you have 20 minutes of studying left. That's just 10 minutes twice. That's 5 minutes twice. So like 5 minutes 4 times. Like, it makes it more digestible. It makes it easier to comprehend in your brain, because, going and saying, okay, I'm going to make this, like, I'm going to make this 90-day goal. 90 days, when you say it out loud, sounds insane. So instead, I broke things up into a random with rose flowers. I don't know what that means. Any links with rose flowers? Like, is that a YouTuber? I don't know. But thank you. So basically what I did was I wrote down my schedule. So I started out writing my eating plan down. Once again, I'm going to do eating on plan Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and intuitive eating, because essentially I think that's where we all want to be. Eventually, we just want to be able to eat and fuel our bodies and also be able to have like indulgences and nice treats and stuff like that without feeling like failures, without all this other stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to be intuitively eating Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So I started out writing my week, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm already halfway through the week because this was last night that I was doing this. I'm already halfway through the week. I'm going to challenge myself a little bit. So I wrote down until next Friday, which is the 29th, which is good for me personally for a lot of reasons, going until the 29th. There's a critter in my wall, I think. I don't know what to do about it. Any advice? So I wrote down until Friday the 29th, that same eating. And then I said, okay, what am I going to do for exercise? And I basically, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have to I basically have to go and I have to take my daughter to jujitsu on Tuesday and Thursday anyway. And literally the place that she goes to jujitsu at is a minute from my gym. There's no excuse for me not to go. So tonight is one of those nights. I'm going to go to the gym tonight. And then I said, you know what? I don't have anything tomorrow and Ella is in school. So I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. So that's only 2 days this week. And I'm not beating myself up over it. And I can't go and I can't let myself get bummed out about the fact that I only went 2 days this week. It's as simple as that. I wrote down that I was going to be having a sushi day on Saturday with Ella, and or a sushi date, I should say, on Saturday, and I'm super excited about that. And then I wrote down that I was going to be exercising Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. So again, only 3 days. And I'm not talking about, you know, crazy weight training. I'm not talking about doing HIIT for 30 minutes or anything like that. I'm talking about doing some sort of cardio for 30 minutes and making it attainable for myself. From the 18th to the 29th is 11 days. If I do this 8 times, I've essentially accomplished my goal, which is so struggle forever. And you're a gem, sorry, miss, whichever you are. So for me, it's like, okay, I can do something 8 times. I can do this 8 times. And essentially what eventually I would love to be able to do is, yeah, I'd love to be able to work out 5 days a week. I'd love to be able to pretty much utilize my gym membership that I'm paying out the nose for. Anytime Fitness is not cheap, but it's the closest gym to me. So, you know, it's one of those things that I think that in her video, the only thing that she does that I kind of felt like she could have maybe is not as digestible to common people like myself. You know, you could tell that she was you know, very fit. She was very fitness motivated. You know, she's a very healthy person. And again, I'll try and link her if I can. But the only thing that she did that I thought that just wasn't digestible is that she said that she wrote down her plan, that she was going to exercise 5 days a week. She made a plan for herself. She kind of shows it a little bit. And I think on hers, it's like leg day, spinning, you know, arm day, back, that sort of thing. I'm sticking with cardio. I am going to be adding resistance training in December, but for now I'm sticking with cardio just to get into the groove of things. And she says that she made a plan for 5 days a week, and she made a food plan, and she said that she was going to stick to it. Obviously, I don't know what her food plan entailed. It could have been, you know, eat well 1 day a week. Like, I don't know. But essentially, she just kind of said, I'm going to exercise 5 days a week and do my meal plan, and I stuck to it. That's not necessarily attainable for everybody. I think that doing it alternating days, whether you do it, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and stick to it like I'm going to, or if you do like alternating days, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, et cetera, et cetera. And also building up that exercise. Even if it takes you a month of going to the gym once a week, and then the next month you bump it up to twice a week, like if you do that eventually, and it sounds kind of like, not only will, you know, not only in 5 months, which seems like a long time, but if you're doing this and if you're really focusing, the time is going to probably go by quite quickly. But also, you know, in 5 months' time, you're going to be going to the gym 5 days a week, and 5 months out of the whole year, like it's just shy of half of a year. Then you're going to be going, and you're going to be able to say that in half a year, you know, were eating right, and, you know, 4 out of 7 days a week, and also going to the gym, starting at 1 day up to 5 days. Like, that's incredible. That's still a journey. And I think that it's really important. Even when I started this, you know, I obviously had to go grocery shopping for a couple of things, but overall, I was really making sure that I didn't go and I didn't throw out any junk food. I still have a bag of Flaming Hot Cheetos in my cupboard. I didn't go out and, you know, throw out all the junk food that I didn't want to eat. I didn't go on this crazy cooking spree or anything like that. I prepped some things because that's what I do anyway. Like, I am a person that needs to prep her food because I am so busy right now. I am solo parenting. So, you know, it's important that I stay on top of stuff like that. But if you don't want to prep it, then don't prep it. It's not something that you have to make a total change overnight. And I think that that was something that her video kind of lacked, was that she was like, holy crap. She took what that entrepreneur said and made a plan for herself and then just stuck with it. And, you know, going and seriously, a critter in my wall. Sorry if you can hear my child, she's playing with the dog. Right in the hallway outside of the door. You know, that's not necessarily going to be attainable for everybody to just make a plan, stick to it, and, you know, that's it. You have to be able to actually make an attainable plan for yourself. If that means that your eating plan looks like eating well, you know, 2, 3, 4 days a week, that's okay. You're still making a change. And if you actually stick to it, because that's the thing that gets me through, is that even on the days that I am on my eating plan, yes, there have been a couple of days that I have gone to bed a little bit hungry. And now I'm not saying that you need to go to bed starving, okay? You should never be weak, shaky, sweaty, nauseous, like any of that. You should not be dehydrated, nothing. You need to be making sure that you're drinking a lot of water to hydrate yourself. And you also need to be making sure that if you are hungry, to eat something healthy, eating something that is higher in fiber so it fills you up a bit. You know, there's tons and tons of like snack videos on YouTube about like super filling snacks that are healthy and all that stuff. So going and making sure that you're not starving yourself, that's not the point of getting some sort of a meal plan. The point is to give yourself a direction. Serene Wu actually just did a whole video on why you know, meal plans don't work, and she's 100% right. They don't go and they don't tell you, they don't teach you how to put food together properly. They don't teach you the sort of portions that you should be eating. From, you know, going through my own fitness journey years ago and now coming back into my fitness journey, I have learned those things. I have the knowledge in my brain already, but it's always nice to see a refresher. So going on YouTube and simply looking up stuff like, you know, healthy snack ideas, super filling, you know, low calorie snack ideas, that sort of thing. It's not going to be reasonable for you to go and eat 3 grapes and be like, oh, I'm still hungry. Well, of course you're still hungry. You just ate skin encapsulated with water. Like it's not a filling snack. You need something that's actually going to fill you up, but that's not going to have the caloric hit that an unhealthier snack is going to have. Also make sure that you're not eating stuff that you don't like. For instance, edamame soybeans are on Cassie's plan. I will try and link her where I got her plan and everything like that. It was totally free. I just found it. I literally looked up 90-day meal plan, and hers was one of the first that popped up. And, you know, in it, she has soybeans for lunch, and soybeans are super expensive in Canada. I'm not going to spend the money just so I can eat soybeans. So I replace them with chickpeas, still high in protein, low in fat, lower in carbohydrates, but not like totally deficient of anything necessarily. Like they're a good solid source of protein, and you know, they basically are around the same macronutrients as soybeans are. So I switched them out for chickpeas because I had chickpeas already in my house. Like making changes like that are going to help you. That does not mean that if she says to, you know, that doesn't mean that if she says to have like a small sweet potato and you're like, oh, well, I only have gigantic sweet potatoes in my house. Like, obviously that's not reasonable. So I'm going to go, and I've actually already started filming what I'm eating for this week, so you guys can see what I'm eating on my intuitive eating days, and also kind of how I'm making the meal plan that Cassie gives work. I am going to be going soon, but I think that's the last thing that I want to touch on is that if I go and if I, when I went and when I saw Cassie's meal plan, like I said, it is all about, it is about kind of challenging yourself, and if you're not a little bit nervous looking at it, like a little bit nervous looking at it, then I don't think it's enough of a challenge. Again, I'm not saying to starve yourself. Ever. And even in the notes, Cassie says, never go under 1,200 calories. Like, you're not supposed to be eating as little as possible. You're supposed to be, it's all about going and thinking of how you can make things work best for you. So as an example, in Cassie's free 90-day meal plan, the breakfast looked ridiculous to me at first. I'm not gonna lie. I like a big breakfast generally. But on this, this occasion, it was a half a cup of oatmeal, a half a cup of egg whites, and a half a banana. And the oatmeal was to be made with water. And I looked at that and I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's a ridiculous breakfast. And in the notes, she says that you can mix the egg whites in with the oatmeal, which sounded repulsive to me. So I was like, okay, how can I make this work? Number one, spices are 0 calories. Yes, you can add Mrs. Dash in, but I don't use pre-mixed spices. Like I make my own spice mixes and everything like that in bulk because it's cheaper for me. It's also less plastic and everything like that. So I have a ton of spices on hand. So I put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some like paprika and parsley, onion powder, garlic powder into the egg whites to make them a little more palatable. And I had that. And then for the oatmeal, I was like, there's no way I'm just eating plain oatmeal and then this half of banana. That's the most depressing meal I've ever heard of in my life. So instead, what I did was I put a little bit of cinnamon in the oatmeal. I still made it with water, just like Cassie said. And then after it was all cooked, I plopped the half a banana in and I used a fork to mash it around. So that way it sweetens up the oatmeal. I'm not just eating a half a banana. Like, it feels like a more well-rounded meal. Like half a cup of egg whites with some seasoning in it, half a cup of oatmeal with cinnamon and a banana. And you can see none of the changes I made impacted the dish calorically at all. It didn't impact the macros at all, like nothing. It is just about how you look at these sort of things. And I do wish, and I mean, maybe she did this and I just didn't see it. Maybe it was in a link or something like that, or she made a different blog post about it or something. But, even going and she just gives you what you're supposed to be eating and then leaves you to it. And I think it would have been more beneficial if she had maybe put together a few recipes or made some suggestions, not just put your egg whites in your oatmeal, but more like, you can mash the banana in, or you can add like spices like cinnamon. Like, I also think it would have been beneficial, especially to people who are looking to make a big change in their lives. A lot of people who are overweight, like I am, we really like sugar. See my face? You see all my face? That's all sugar, okay? I like sugar, and I need to get off the sugar kick. But I think it would have been really beneficial to have something like, once a day with like one of your meals or something like that. You can have like a tablespoon of honey or a tablespoon of maple syrup, or like 3 drops of like stevia, or like a pack of stevia or something like that. So nothing artificial, nothing refined, but also making sure that it's not such a harsh adjustment for people who are like me and we want to make a big change. We want to make a change. A lot of people are going to say, okay, well, I have to stick with this. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, if this is what healthy eating is, then this sucks, honestly. And again, this is not to like shit on Cassie's like meal plan or anything like that. Again, I'm using it. And I really like it. It's very comprehensive. But I do think that maybe adding in a few more options, going and saying, once a day, if you wanted to add like 2 tablespoons of salsa, do that sort of thing. Or going in and being like, once a day, if you want to add in, a tablespoon of barbecue sauce, no sugar added, or a low sugar barbecue sauce, giving some options like that. And then also possibly doing another blog post or like a little mini ebook or something like that to go and put little recipes together, because there's a lot that you can do with her meals. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to nutrition. The biggest problem is that people who are coming out of living an unhealthy lifestyle and they want to make this change and they see this meal plan, I think that it's going to kind of put them off, you know, eating healthy, being fit, taking care of themselves, because a lot of the food that she did post, a lot of the meals that she did post are on the more bland side or the more simple side. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean or rude to her. Again, I am using her meal plan Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So it's nothing against her or anything like that. These are just things that I look at when I'm looking at meal plans, and that I think that it would be beneficial if you looked at it like that as well. So I'm going to go, and I am going to be sticking to my schedule, if you will, my own plan. Today was an intuitive eating day. It's also a cardio day. You know, I did have candy today, but I also didn't stuff myself to the point where I was, you know, not feeling good or anything like that. And I can already feel a change, like, in my mentality around what I'm eating and stuff like that. I'm choosing a lot healthier options, and that doesn't mean that I'm never going to eat something unhealthy again in my life. That doesn't mean that, you know, junk food, as it was, like, all of a sudden repulses me. And it doesn't mean that I've lost, you know, a whole bunch of weight or anything like that. I don't even know how much weight I've lost. Like, I didn't even weigh myself before I started this. I weighed myself, I think, at the beginning of the month, but other than that, I don't know. But the point is, if you are going to make a change, make it attainable. There are people who say, you know, you have to love yourself before you can make a physical change, because otherwise you're just still going to hate yourself afterwards. There are people who say that they just quit cold turkey, like they just went straight into whatever they needed to do. I am neither of those people. I do not hold this love of myself at all. I shouldn't say at all. That sounded really awful just then. Oh man, that Gen Z humor is coming out. No, I just, right now, I am not in love with the person that I see in the mirror every day. I'm not, you know, I don't love the person who has been unmotivated and undedicated. And I think that motivation and dedication really speaks on somebody's character. And I feel like I haven't had that for a really long time. So if anything, I've been pretty disappointed in myself. I think that, you know, sorry, I spaced out for a second. My brain stopped working and had a glitch. I got the kind of blue screen of death in my brain. I think that I can't remember what I was talking about. Crap. I'm going to say something to you, though, struggle forever, because you have been commenting endlessly. And, you know, if somebody in your household is making it difficult for you to lose weight, try and talk to them about it. Actually have a sit-down conversation and say, hey, I want to contribute, or I want to make healthy meals for myself, or, you know, I'm trying to make a change. And I think that communication, not only with the other people in the household, but also with yourself, is very important. I have a 7-year-old in my household, and I want to eat like a 7-year-old can eat, because not only does she have a freaking fast metabolism that she can eat whatever she wants to eat, but, you know, she is constantly moving around. She has recess twice a day, 3 times a day, every single day. She's a very active kid. And obviously, as an adult, I am not that active. I don't burn as many calories as she does. I don't, you know, I'm not able to just eat whatever I want and not and then not, you know, gain any weight sort of thing. And if anything, with her, gaining weight is good at this point. Obviously, she's growing. But, you know, when she goes and she's like, oh, can we stop for ice cream? I want to be like, hell yeah, we can stop for ice cream, kid. Like, oh, can we go hit Slurpees? Yes, we can go hit Slurpees. Can we go to Taco Bell? Yes, we can go to Taco Bell. I can't do that all the time. And I have to go and I have to basically tell her the same things that I tell myself. You know, we are being healthy to take care of our bodies. And unfortunately, we have been told by all of the fast food companies and, you know, especially the 90s was so bad for fast food. And that's when I grew up. So for me, fast food is literally a part of my life. Like, I have never lived in a world without fast food and where fast food wasn't mainstream. You know, going, and it is so foreign for me still to go and sit down in a restaurant. Like, I feel like I'm having like a nice night out if I go and sit down in a restaurant, and it shouldn't be like that. Going and sitting down in a restaurant should be your normal eating out. And nowadays it's all Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes and Lyft Eats and, you know, all this stuff. The food comes to your house, pizza delivery, or you go through the drive-through and, you know, you sit and you don't talk to anybody and you watch YouTube or you watch like a movie or TV show or something like that. And that's how people eat now. And that's not kind of how people should be eating. They should be, you know, trying to interact with other people. Number one, it's a great time to talk about your day and stuff like that. But number two, it's a really great time to sit and actually enjoy your food. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to clean up after it. And you just sit there and enjoy your food. And even if you're sitting there alone, talking to the waitress, striking up a conversation with somebody at the bar, like, that can be super, super helpful and cathartic. It helps me slow down. And it also is more expensive than fast food, which means that instead of just going and instead of getting fast food and I'm just, you know, I gulp it down because it tastes so good and it's so sugary and it's so salty and so this and so that and fried and everything like that, I'm actually taking the time to enjoy my food and have a conversation with my daughter. And, you know, stuff like that, I think, is very, very important to not only teach ourselves, but to teach our children and, you know, exemplify that when eventually when Ella grows up, what I would love for her to do is to have that, you know, cooking at home most days, most meals, and then going, and if you're out, yeah, you can go and you can sit down and have some food. Like, making time to enjoy your meal is not a bad thing. And I think that's part of the problem that all of us have now is that, number one, we constantly want to be entertained. So we constantly want to sit here and watch mukbang videos or what I eat in a day is while people are eating. And a lot of times for me, I felt like, especially when I was watching people's what I eat in a day, it was very guilty. I felt very, very guilty because then I'd be like sitting there eating like McDonald's or Wendy's or something like that. And having to watch somebody who's super fit and super thin and pretty with a full face of makeup on at the gym and then like eating kale salads and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, going and sitting down at the dining room table, even if it's just you, you know, I think that that's beneficial to everyone. And, you know, again, I have to really think about the example that I'm setting for my child. I have to think about these things because I want her to be a healthy human being. I don't want her to take the same path that I took where, you know, growing up, I didn't realize that this stuff was unhealthy. Going to McDonald's, going to Wendy's, going to Burger King were normal occurrences for us. And when we weren't going to those places, we weren't eating healthy necessarily at home either because my mom had to learn a lot. My dad was gone a lot. Like, my brother is younger than I am. So it never occurred to me that, you know, having 4 or 5 cups of pasta at a meal was unhealthy. It never occurred to me that having, 4 pork chops at a meal was unhealthy. And it took me a really long time to learn about portions and portion control and what I actually needed to fuel my body, and also how like salty stuff is and how sugary stuff is and how much artificiality there is in the food industry. I don't know why I went on this huge rant about fast food and the fast food industry. I'm really sorry about that. But basically, make time for yourself. Set attainable goals for yourself. Don't just jump into something because you want to make this drastic change. And obviously, do it for your own reasons. Don't do it to get back at somebody. Don't do it to look good for somebody. Don't do it because you have this thing coming up. Like, do it because you want to feel good. Do it because you want to be healthy. Do it because it's going to be what makes you happy, what fuels your soul, what makes you, what makes you happy. And I know I already said that. Redundant. I'm stupid. But I think that, oh my gosh, my nose is so itchy. I think that, going and I think that going and making sure you're doing it for the right reasons is most important, and keep your promises to yourself, because the more you break your promises to yourself, the more you're not going to trust yourself. And the more you don't trust yourself, the more you're just going to basically give up on yourself. And that's where I was before. That's where I was, over the weekend even. I made this plan for myself and I was like, Caitlin, you're never going to stick to this. And guess what? I've had 2 on-plan eating days this week, and I stuck to them both the whole day. The whole day. I have not slipped up or done something bad on them once. I don't like associating those words, which is why they're in quotation marks. But, I followed them to a T, and they still tasted good. And I still got the things that I needed in, and I'm feeling really good. I had a break on Tuesday. I'm having a break today. Tomorrow is an eating plan day. Like, I'm not overindulging on my intuitive eating days, but I'm also not making sure that I'm not like being restrictive to myself or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to end with, because I've been talking for an hour. Holy crap. And I hope that you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. If you like this, I don't know, if you can give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up. If you want to share it, share it. And make sure that you come back, because I definitely want to do more lives. Next time I will probably be putting on a lot more makeup. And I don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but I do think that doing lives is going to be lots of fun. And maybe I can even set up a little bit of lighting or something like that over here, so that I'm not like Two-Face and half of me is in darkness. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.